This morning's scripture reading is Luke 2, verses 1 through 7. In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that took place while Quirinius was governor of Syria. And everyone went to his own town to register. So Joseph also went from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and the line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born. And she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn.
Right. I just got this message. He's still at the ER in Walsenburg. They had whatever they need on hand, but they're going to keep him another hour before they discharge him.
Okay, well, the fact that they're talking about discharge is huge. Well, this isn't the message that Darren had planned. It wasn't really the message I had planned either, but with a little advance warning this morning, I pulled something together for us. If you would, please turn to John 7 and be looking at verses 37 and 38. You know, this is a holiday season. One of the things that certainly dances in little children's eyes is that there's bound to be a Christmas present somewhere under that tree for them. In keeping with the theme of some of our earlier sermons here, I'm going to talk about some healing words. Many of the times Jesus uttered healing words that were sort of off topic. He just sort of shifted and changed what was going on. But most of them were designed to either heal or be a gift to us. And in this season of gift giving and gift unwrapping, I would like to kind of focus our attention this morning on a gift that God, through Christ, delivered to us. And that is found in John 7, 37 and 38. These healing words are not like some of the others we've already studied together. It's more complexity to this, and I'm going to try and parse this out a little bit because it's really powerful. The first level of what's going on, and you've heard this, if anyone is thirsty in that passage, and I'll read that, on the last day of the festival, the great day, while Jesus was standing there, he cried out, "Let anyone who is thirsty come to me, and let the one who believes in me drink." And the scripture has said, "Out of the believer's heart shall flow rivers of living water." Now, he said this about the Spirit, which believers in him were to receive. For as yet there was no Spirit, because Jesus was not yet glorified. Oh, we understand that. But there's levels in this that I think are very, very interesting. Level one, if anyone is thirsty, sets the tone really for the water, living water promise. There's not a human alive that doesn't understand thirst. There's not a human alive that has not at one point or another say, "I'm really thirsty." All humans understand thirst. What a brilliant analogy now that Christ made. There wasn't a single person that was listening, whether they were for him or suspicious of him or whatever. They all understood water and they all understood thirst. Uh, Thirst is also a common metaphor for spiritual needs in the Old Testament. We see that throughout Psalms. Although, Christ started where people were, he did not necessarily agree with them. He always exposed their unbelief and made generous offers to fill that emptiness that their unbelief created. The spiritual implication of this metaphor is that, in fact, offers to fulfill this are acknowledged. To be healed, we must be aware of the need. This metaphor signals that Jesus knows about our inner longings and needs. That's level one. In looking at this level two, water is the answer to thirst, clearly, not unlike today. The people Jesus was addressing in John 7 were looking for proof, which they called signs. In fact, many of them simply followed him not for his message, but in fact for his signs. He knew that, but they needed to know something much, much greater than that. Just as we need water to live, we also need a close relationship with our Creator. When Adam and Eve agreed with Satan's lie, for example, they removed themselves from a right relationship with God and suffered death instead of freedom. I can't imagine how free the Garden of Eden really was before that tragic mistake. What I do know, though, is it just wasn't Adam and Eve's fault. Any one of us in that position would have failed as well. Psychologically, we do not function according to his designs necessarily, certainly when we do not have a proper relationship with him. Consequently, when our lives are in good spiritual order, other interpersonal relationships take on a higher and stronger character. Isn't that amazing? So that was level 2 of this. Level 3 is immediacy. The hearers in the temple court that day, the woman at the well in John 4, and we too think in terms of filling immediate needs. Have you ever thought of a long-term need for very long? Probably not. Usually our thoughts are, in fact, most of our prayers have to do with immediate needs. We need it now. The living water that Jesus was offering fulfills immediate and eternal needs. So it fulfills that immediacy. But the living water is water that emanates from the source, the uncontaminated, pure, safe water. When we drink from Jesus' living water, we can live life with a profound difference. Our behaviors, our attitudes, our emotions last longer than for just the moment. We can function more in touch with the full dimension of time right through eternity, through accepting Christ's gift to us of the living waters. Finally, level 4, the outflow. This is where it really gets interesting. And this is where Christianity changes in many ways from any other religion. Just when we think we know where Jesus is going with this metaphor, he surprises us with a change in thought, and that is the water is outflowing, not inflowing. Its central purpose is meeting the needs of others. We are to be that source of outflow. quickly we see the gift we've been given this Christmas is that we serve others. The intake is only part of the process. The end result is out from us. God expects that. In many ways, He demands it. So, spiritually, then, Christ's ministry to us is actually a ministry to others. God's scheme here has no room for self centeredness. That's such a powerful message. I don't know how many times I have looked at this passage in John and never ever thought about the outflow that is expected, in fact, is created within us. That outflow to serve and heal others as well. So that's my quick 5-minute preparations of a sermon. I appreciate it's not better for your benefit. That's what I have today. Uh, if any of you have a need, particularly to put on Christ in baptism, today's yet another opportunity for you to do that.